G'day. Now, have you got a Linux host that you're constantly connecting to with SSH, like pretty often, but you have to put your username and password in every time? Well, if you do, this video is for you because there's a way around that by using keys so that you can just go to the server and you're straight in without putting your password in. So I'll show you how to do that now. Okay, I'll need a couple of Linux hosts. So in this box of Raspberry Pis, I'll just grab a couple and use them. Okay, I've got a yellow and blue Raspberry Pi and the PoE splitters for them, so I'm just going to plug them into the switch and let them boot up. Okay, those Raspberry Pis will be up on the network now. So I'll go through step by step how we make an SSH connection to it and what's involved. So if I start off with SSH Pi at 192.168.50.101, you get this message asking if I agree with that fingerprint. Now that's just basically identifying that to make sure it's the right one that I think it is and not some other one. So I'll say yes to that, and now I have to put in the password. And now I'm connected. And I'm connected to the yellow one because that's what I made the console yellow, so I know. Anyway, if I exit out of that and just connect back to it again, I won't get asked that fingerprint question again because it already knows it. Okay, but I still have to put in the password, so I connect. So what happened back here at the Slacks machine that I'm using to connect to those, if I have a look, it created a directory called SSH. And in that directory is a file called known hosts. And in that, it contains what we just saw before. So when I connect to that Linux host, it checks to see if it's a known host, and if it is, then it says, yeah, go for it, we're off we go. So if I, as an example, connect to a different one, the other one, I haven't connected to it before, so I ask the question again, and there we go. So I connect to that one, and that's the blue one. Okay, so I'll exit out of that, and I'll have a look at that known hosts file again, and you can see I've got two entries now. So you can build up a list of all the hosts that you tend to connect to. Okay, I'm going to look even deeper at what just happened then. So I'm going to connect this time using a verbose setting. So Pi at 192.168.50.101. Okay, put in the password, and I'm in. Now if we have a look up here, what you can see is it tried for some keys first. Okay, it's trying these keys. It's not finding any because I haven't got any yet. And it says, okay, well, there's none of that. So the next method it tries is the password, and that's when I then got prompted for the password. Okay, so since it wanted to use keys, I'm going to set up some keys now. So on this client machine, I'll just go SSH Keygen and pretty much enter that. That's just the file where it's going to save it. Save. Now you can put a password or passphrase on these keys, but that kind of defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do here. So just enter past all of that, and it's just made some keys. So SSH Keygen, and just keep pressing enter. And what's happened here is in that directory, what we've got now, we've still got the known host. That hasn't changed. That's just our record of the Linux hosts that we've connected to. But we've also got this. We have a couple of keys. The one .pub is the public key. That's the one you would give out to someone else. It's just public private key pair. Okay, so the private key is the one without the .pub extension. That's the one you want to keep here. That's your private one, so you keep that private. So what I want to do is put that public key on the server. So I'll just use SCP for that. So SCP, the public key, Pi at 192.168.50.101, and just that colon just means that puts it in the home directory. Okay, still got to use my password because we're not set up yet. Okay, so that's copied it over. Now I'll go to that machine. Okay, and I can see the file is there. Okay, what I want to do though is put it into the .ssh directory. Oh, I haven't even got a .ssh directory. First of all, I've got to make a .ssh directory. So make dir.ssh. And of course there's nothing in it. So because this is the first key, I'll just move it from its home directory to here. But that won't work in that state. The public key's there, but you have to rename it. So you just call it authorized keys. Okay, and there it is. Okay, so that key is now on the server, the public key. Here on the client, I've got the public key and the private key. So I'll use my private key here, and the public key is what I put on whatever server I want to connect to. So now, if I go pi at 192.168.50.101, straight in. Okay, no password needed. And if I do that, actually I should have done that verbose. 50.101. We'll see what happened here. It tried the public key. It offered from that directory. You can see it there. That was from my client directory, because this is the client that debug came from. It offered that. It succeeded, and I'm in. Okay, so that's how you set up a key. So that's pretty good, but I still have to type this business here. So I don't really want to type that. So what I'll do is I'll just make a quick little script, essentially a one-line thing, just to connect quickly to the yellow Raspberry Pi. So I'll just go user local bin, and I'll just call it yellow. Okay, so now I'll just go SSH pi at 192.168.50.101 and make that executable. So now all I have to do is type yellow, and that's it, connected to the Raspberry Pi. And of course you can do the same for blue. I'll just base it on that, edit it for the IP address of the blue one, and let's have a look. Blue. I haven't set up the keys on the blue one, so I still have to put in the password. But that's no big drama. We'll go through it again. Okay, in sep.ssh id.public pi at 192.168.50.102 in the home directory. Bang, password to connect to it. Okay, connect to it, still using the password. Okay, we're in. Make dir.ssh. Move ID to .ssh authorized keys. Bang. Test it out. Lovely. Now, if you want to add keys from other clients, like there might be other people or just your own other Linux boxes, they'll have a different key. So you want to put them on there too. So let's say I'm on the blue one. Okay, and I want to connect to the yellow one, .50.101. Got to go through all that again because it's a new setup. Okay, now I'm connected to the yellow one from the blue. What I want to do is put the blue keys onto the yellow one. So if I exit out of that, I'll do the same process again. SSH keygen, right? This is on the blue machine now. The old Raspberry Pi isn't too quick at thinking about this. Okay, so now I have some keys on the blue machine. So what I want to do now is copy the keys from the blue host over to the yellow one. So same as before, SCP ID pub to pi at 192.50.101 in the home directory. Yes, that's where it is. Go over to the yellow one. So now what I've done is I've just put those keys like before into the home directory. But if I copy that into the authorized host file, I'll overwrite the previous key. So if you remember what it looked like, it just had the one key there. What I want to do is cat the ID file, the public key that I just sent over to the home directory, and put two of these here to add it onto the already existing file. If you just put one, it'll copy over it. So put two, and that goes on authorized keys. So now authorized keys has two in there. So that means that two clients are allowed to have their keys on there so they can connect. So now you can just bounce around and go, I can go to the blue machine straight away, and I can go to the yellow one. I haven't set up my automatic command there, but you know how to do that now. So that's it. That's how you connect to servers just using your keys. And you can do this with PuTTY on Windows as well. It's slightly different, but the concept's there. You can do it with PuTTY, but I use Linux, so that's how you do it on Linux. So there you go, something else that might save you a bit of time and make life a little bit easier for you. See ya.